So you join us en route to the Isle of Wight. We're going over to Rookley Fishery. We're doing a 3-day session. It's early March. It's the week after we had all of that savage snow last week. So the temperature has got a little bit better. It's hovering around that 10 degrees mark. We've got a bit of rain forecast, but hopefully we're out the other side now and into spring. Fish are going to start waking up. Hopefully we can try and get some on the bank for you. And we'll see you on the other side. So you join us at a very noisy and a very wet Rookley Country Park on the Isle of Wight. It's early March and we've come down to do a 3-day session. We're currently 2/3 through that session now. We're going into the last night. We'll show you how we've got on a little bit later on, but just want to talk you through a little bit about the lake and some of my spots. So the lake's probably about 2 acres in size. Fish go to over 40 pounds in there. The biggest one is a fish called Millie. Hasn't been out since last October. You never know, we might catch that for you. So normally, if I was coming down here, I'd fish a swim called the Corner. However, because of all the building work which is going on, that's completely out of bounds. They've completely dug up behind it. So settled for a swim called the Electric Box, which is pretty much opposite the Corner and allows me to fish the same water. So I fished the Corner last April and I fished along the margins under a tree, and I can still reach that spot with my bait boat or my baiting spoons. My bait boat has actually had a bit of technical issues, so we can still get to it. So that's one of my spots. The other spot is pretty much in the same area, going to the same distance as that tree, but in line with an aerator on the other side of the lake. So that's my distance and how I'm judging how far to go. So we've basically got two rods coming off from a margin. And then my third one is basically just aimed out to a little sort of clay spot in the middle. So that's a little bit about the lake and a little bit about my spots, and we'll show you some of that a bit later on. Would you like to be put out of your misery, Gavler? Yeah. Okay, you keep the picture on the Gavler. Okay, it is 33 and a half.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. Get some.
That's it.
Let's play a different game. Fire it all up again. Fire up my heart again. For me to lose. I know I'm the one to stay. I'll run away again. Running away again.
First one of the trip, just over 20 pounds. Fell to the Ronnie rig on the citrus burst pop-ups. Brilliant start to the session. Not as big as the ones Gav had yesterday, tipping scales over at 33, but it's lovely to get off the mark. Hopefully, we'll get a few more on that spot. Let's get him back. Right, so it's Saturday afternoon. Just to run you through what's happened so far. There's been 2 fish which come out. Gav, who's up 2 swims down from me, had his PB yesterday, £33.10. So I'm absolutely over the moon for him, buzzing. Literally, he cast the rod out, and pretty much as he was trying to put the bobbin on, he's pulled out of his hand, and he's banged his PB. So it's great for him. Proper chucked it down last night and this morning. Everything's soaking wet. But yeah, so this morning probably about 7:30, middle rod's ripped off. Felt decent while I was playing it. Managed to get it in after wiping out 2 of my other rods as well, which was brilliant. But that tipped the scales around to, I think it was around £21. I can't remember exactly. I have to look back at the photos and the video of it. But I'm pretty sure it was a recapture. I think I had it this time last April. 24 last year, but slightly underweight this year. But yeah, so it's stopped raining now. It's looking good. Still overcast. I think it's due to rain a little bit later. But at the moment it's just nice to be dry. So hopefully we might have a few more out. 3 o'clock seems to be the time, 3 o'clock, and then in the morning. So hopefully we can get a few more to show you later. Peace.
I know I'm the one to stay. I'll run away again, running away again, till I see the you.
So I'm just going to talk you through my rigs now. So first up, my first rig is a wafter rig. Now I took the inspiration from the IQD rig, except for I'm not using IQ, I'm using a coated braid. This coated braid is the new braid available from Hobo Armour called Coated Armour. I'm using that in £25. Teaming that up with their new LD rig kickers. So instead of whipping up the hook to create the D, it's already done for you. All you have to do is slide that on the hook, put a rig swivel on, and you're sorted and ready to go. So that's probably about 6 inches long. I'm tying it off with a loop at the end just to give it some double rigidity, just to push it away from the lead as well. That rig, I'm actually using that with a cog lead system, just because I know the bottom here is really hard and I know I can get away with that. So that's the first rig. Right, what I want to do now is talk to you about my second rig. The rig I've chosen to use is the In Fashion Ronnie rig. Just to tell you how I tie that up, first thing I do is I take a size 4 C-shank hook. I then grab one of our quick change rig swivels and attach that to the hook. Next up, I use one of our L kickers. I trim that down slightly, slide it onto the hook, and I cover the join between the hook and the quick change rig swivel. I then grab one of our micro rig swivels, slide it onto the hook. Then hook bead, that goes onto the hook just opposite the bottom. Once you've done that, the hook section is then complete. You now need to choose what hook link material you're going to use. On this occasion, I've chosen to use Hobo Armour Coated Armour in £20. It's probably about 6-7 inches long. You can use a little bit of putty or a sinker in the middle just to make sure everything's pinned down. How I tie it off at the end is I form a loop and then I tie that off onto the swivel just to give it that little bit of double edge rigidity towards the leg section. Make sure that you weight the hook section down with enough putty, just to make sure that the hook comes to rest nice on the bottom. I like to have it quite overweighted so it sits well, and that's my second rig. Second one of the trip for me, 26 pounds, 8 ounces. It's the biggest one for me so far this trip. Bit of a funny story, when I struck into this one because I'm fishing slack lines, it was actually nowhere where it was meant to be, so luckily I actually managed to get it in. So this one went this morning. This one was actually on a rafter, topped off with a CC Moore Citrus Blast pop-up again, so they're obviously liking the bait. Brilliant, nice. Hopefully we can have a few more lost one in the night as well. So yeah, but it's getting towards bite time now, so we might have another one in a minute. Let's get him back. Right, so it's the last morning and it absolutely chucked it down something special last night. We're just about to start packing up, but we're trying to dry some of the gear off before we do that. No more fish to report. I did lose one this morning though, hooked into it, but it came off fairly quickly. But you know, that's the way it goes sometimes, it's fishing after all. Just wanted to say we've had an absolutely fantastic time here at Rookley Fishery on the Isle of Wight. Wanted to say thanks to Tim in the Tuck Shop. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Let's play a different game.